And here we are in the final day of March.
I am
almost out of it.
I am absolutely committed to getting a bugle. I'm doing it. I want to, like, after a good coaching call,
or at the start of the coaching call. You should just play the video at the start of every one of your coaching calls.
I think it works, man. I think it totally works. You know,
don't do that. Good morning, Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Good morning to the community. Good morning to the squad. Good morning, gentlemen. How was your day yesterday?
Nice to see you smiling. So yesterday was jam-packed. I had coaching calls all day long. And as we just reviewed, God, I love what I do. So great to catch up with people. Ended the day with my dear friend, Lori Salarillo, and we just broke all the time barriers. It was the end of the day, so we just kept going and digging in deep, man, getting better. And I told her that when you are inclined to be great, getting better is harder. It's harder than the average Joe. It just is, man. You're pushing yourself and pushing yourself. I'm so happy that Shelby Fabian is here. He's an occasional, but I'm really glad he's here. Good morning, Shelby. Last time he was here, I forgot to shout him out. It was in my brain and we got carried away. So good morning. Thanks.
Welcome, Shelby. Welcome to the huddle. Glad
Shelby
to have you here.
Is building a nice business, just growing, adding people, doing his thing. So thanks for joining the huddle, the community that supports.
You have a perfect kickoff for a video that I want to show in the beginning of the show. It's when you're at that level, right? The commitment to excellence and getting 1% better all the time. Well, there is this video that has surfaced of Chris Paul and Michael Jordan at a basketball camp for all of these kids. And at the end of the camp, Chris Paul makes a bet with Michael Jordan that if he misses 3 shots, he's got to buy the entire camp Jordans, right? A pair of Jordans for every kid in the camp. Now, you would think that, like, you know, as being a good human, you'd want to do it for the kids. No. Not when you are committed to excellence. Shay, show me the video. He didn't miss 1 shot, and you can hear the disappointment in the kids' voices as he just trains shot after shot.
But you and I talked this morning, which is so great about PreHuddle. Good morning, William. Thank you for joining the PreHuddle. We're already talking about stuff. And I was saying, you know, mindset is this really broad thing. Michael Jordan, master of the mindset. But when you look at that, you're betting on yourself, man. That is the entrepreneurial spirit. Move everybody out of the way. Confidence, man. I got this. Put it on my shoulders. Every great entrepreneur has the same feeling.
So and I love that you brought us to that conversation about mindset. That was what my post was about this morning, because I think sometimes mindset can be a little bit hard for people to grasp. And so I broke it into 5 really manageable buckets for people, where it starts with belief, then it goes to inspiration, then it goes to confidence, then it goes to growth, and then it goes to failure, and how you develop your mindset in those 5 areas and what you do, whether it be activities, whether it be food, whether it be diet, whether it be exercise, that feed those things, and how you develop a system and a process. But I don't think anybody talks about belief better than this guy. Shay, show me Inky.
Believe in what you're doing. Sometimes all you got to do is stay the course and outlast whatever the opposition and the adversity may be, right? When it comes to whatever you consider to be success. Success for some people is, hey man, every single day I get to have dinner with my family. That's success to me, right? Success for other people is, hey man, every single month I clear 500,000. Great, that's success. Whatever success means to you, properly define it, but always look at it in terms of, do I love what I do? Do I know what I'm doing? If opposition and adversity happens, will I still believe in what I'm doing?
You know, there's an interesting takeaway there. You know, Bill Belichick talked about do your job. Nick Saban talks about do your job. You walk into a lot of companies and you go, hey, what's your job? And they go,
right.
You know, like you talk to a salesperson, what's your job? Your job is not to sell. Your job is to develop opportunities. So it's, you know, understanding, know what you do. It's that's a great deal.
Defining the job is so important. And I think that's where, like, a lesson that I learned, and we're going to get on a conversation. Should we go to wake up music before we come back and finish this conversation?
I guess otherwise we ain't ever
let's
get
to some wake up music. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about that for a second.
Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up. Come on, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in there. No more back to thinking. Time for thinking ahead. Come on now.
So this was a great lesson that I learned from football, because when you gave a kid a scholarship, you were essentially locked into that guy for 4 years, right? There were some ways you could get out of it, but for the most part, you owned them for 4 years. So if you missed on somebody, or you had a quarterback that just wasn't performing as a quarterback, or you had a linebacker that wasn't really performing as a linebacker, and you felt like you had offered them all of the opportunities that they could get in order to succeed at that position, firing was not an option.
Right.
So you really had to have a conversation with that young man about what is it that you really want to do? What skill sets do you feel like fit you best? Where do you see yourself offering this organization the most value? Let's find a way to make a position that fits that so that we can get something out of him, because otherwise it was a complete loss and you were holding that dead weight for 3 years, which ends up becoming, which I think not enough companies do that. Instead of just moving on from people, find a way to make it work with somebody by asking them, what is it that you really want to do?
You know, I would struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I got a position I got to fill. I need an offensive lineman. You can't, you know, if you're, 180 pounds, you can't be an offensive lineman. So you might want to do something that your skill sets and body doesn't allow you to do. Maybe not the same exact parallel in business, but to me, I think the big void is knowing what to do. Like when I get up in front of an organization and I say, with absolute certainty, I can teach you what to do that will increase your success rate. You know, you just got to learn it and do it.
Right.
You got to be willing to learn it. You know, if you can say, well, it's just not the way we do it. You know, so.
And willing to do it. Like, right. So that's where, like, are there salespeople who are in sales roles that should just not be in sales roles? Like, that to me is there a percentage of people? Are there intangibles? Are there certain things that you say, you know what? I could get you to do all of the things that I want you to do, but you don't really want to do it anyway. So it's going to hurt the quality of the work, and you're never going to really fulfill the position the way you should. Maybe you'd be better off punching numbers in the back room. Maybe you'd be better off helping somebody do research to set them up for success. Is there, and that's kind of the way I look at it.
I actually think that swings the other way. There's some people who are great communicators that are not in the sales world who you can convert. They,
right.
You know, they're the technician. They're the one who really knows all the stuff, but they've never been taught the sales. Their view of sales is, I don't want to be because they view it as forcing solutions on somebody, but you're the technician. You know how to do it. All you got to do is communicate value, which you do as a person all the time. So, you know, I think that idea really does work if you can find, listen, you know, the book Good to Great was getting the right people on the bus and getting them in the right seats, you know.
Right.
And so if you have good people, good people committed to a cause, then you can move them around. But it's a very, very, very dangerous slope. I'll tell you.
What you just talked about with good people committed to a cause, we're going to celebrate somebody who is, what do you got?
That's exactly why Shelby's here, right?
Right, exactly.
You know what? He's learned how to present what he does in a way that people are buying him, not necessarily the numbers. It's his understanding of the numbers. It's his experience with the numbers. So What a great comment. Funny, but true.
I love that. So we're going to go to morning motivational music, which are tied into the mindset of believing. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about Huddle headlines, and we're going to talk about somebody who got a lot of good people committed to a cause and did something really special.
The master of my CEO. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... Hey, you bring me up, believer, believer. Hey, you break me down, you build me up, believer, believer. Let it rain. My love, my time, it came from. Hey, you bring me up, believer, believer. Third things third, send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings, they would drown, but they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke open and rained down, it rained down like... Hey, you bring me up, believer, believer.
So this whole idea of belief, most people, this is a categorization, but it's true, have limiting beliefs.
Sure.
One of the reasons why I love LinkedIn is a absolute daily, there's videos in there. Matt Higgins posted something, an interview with Brad, I just went blank on his name, Bradley Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about the voice in your head is the most powerful, telling you you can't do it, you can't do it. That's that limiting belief. To overcome that is so hard. So that tees up where you want to go here. But 80% of it happens in your mind before it happens on the field.
Well, that's what it's when we talk about coaching, and I love the fact that Nick Saban talked about this in the talk. We could talk about process. We can talk about people. We can talk about having the right priorities. We can talk about all the great organizational things, which when we get to Huddle headlines, we're going to talk about Fred Smith and some of those things. But at the end of the day, you got to believe that, and it's got to be in your mind and the things you do that develop the mindset, right? The inputs, the outputs. And if you think about how you handle failure, how you look at growth, and what you do to, develop a growth mindset. When you think about how you develop confidence, where you get inspiration from internally, externally, and then how that all feeds into this belief system. That's, to me, that's what the mindset is it's a belief system.
Oh, I love that.
That allows me to overcome obstacles and achieve objectives. Like, to keep it really fucking simple. I don't want to talk about goals and accomplishments and excuse my language. F that. I make it simple. It's about overcoming adversity.
A little sensitive on the language. Why? Because maybe
I remember that there's kids watching sometimes, and if I don't preemptively say, "Hey, earmuffs," then you can't just say whatever you want.
The sisters of Sistel, when I was up there, she told us, she goes, listen, I was in the car with my kids taking them to school. And then they go, ooh, he uses bad words. So funny.
So you just the idea of the mindset has to be built for you to overcome obstacles and built for you to achieve objectives. keep it one step at a time and get over the adversity to get the next thing done. That's what creates success and consistency.
When you talk about sports and you talk about business, failure and rejection are a big part of it. If you do not have the wherewithal to deal with that, it's going to be brutal.
Exactly.
So for me, I've reinvented myself half a dozen times, and people go, wow, how do you do that? There is no choice. What do you mean how? You just got to do it.
So Shay, give me Huddle headlines music, and then we're going to talk about what's happening with that. So it is official.
I like that music too.
I know. It really reminds me of like the nightly update or the weekly update on SNL. But so it is official that Fred Smith, the founder and CEO of FedEx, is stepping away from his role as CEO, moving into a board seat, and moving on, or at least allowing FedEx to move on from his leadership. So first of all, he's done incredible things. And where he got the idea for FedEx was he was watching companies like IBM and companies like Microsoft and Xerox become more automated. And he said, as the world gets more automated, they're going to need better supply chain answers. They're going to need faster, better service and answers when it comes to shipping. That's where he got the idea for FedEx. But I got a little 2-minute part of an interview that I want to show from Fred Smith that really talks about how he's become successful.
Things that have been the reasons for the success of FedEx when you started it and still today. For you as the leader.
Yeah. Well, I think to some degree, people look at that around business and find that to be unusual, and I guess it is. But in a lot of other fields, it's not so unusual. I don't know of any 4-star general that didn't start off as a second lieutenant. So to go from second lieutenant to 4-star general, and the pyramid gets very small up at the top, you have to study, learn the lessons of history, find people to emulate, be willing to change, learn how to delegate, learn how to state with clarity what you're trying to achieve. And the higher you go and the bigger the organization, the better you have to be at all of those things. The same thing's true in, the football business. I know that a little bit. My son Arthur here is the tight ends coach of the Tennessee Titans. Go Titans next fall. I think they're going to be very good. But most people that become great coaches, they played football, and then they were a tight ends coach, and then maybe they're offensive coordinator, and then they end up, some of them, like Tom Landry or Bill Belichick, as geniuses. So they've gone through that continuum, and I don't look at what I've done any different than those examples I just gave you. I did change a lot. I did study a lot. I did try to avail myself of the lessons of history and other people that made those transitions from sort of small to big enterprises. And I just think it's discipline and objectivity and the willingness to do those things I just mentioned to you.
So 5 key behaviors that I think when you hear him speak, he talked about a lot of things: study, emulate, change, delegate, communicate. I mean, if you focused on those 5 things, I don't care if you're the CEO of FedEx or you're the janitor or you're whoever inside the organization, you're going to become great because of those 5 behaviors.
So just ask this question, just the first one. How many people actually study after high school?
Right. Nobody.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, I just do this. So, well, what do you do to get better? I just do it. That doesn't work.
So that was my, when we talk about confidence and building confidence comes partially from studying. You got to know it. When you know it, you've got no fear about stepping in front of somebody and communicating that information. And so I think do you know what, and so this is going to move this conversation a little bit to how the organization became successful. Do you know what the Purple Promise is?
I do not.
So this is the core value, and I love that he's got one statement that bleeds through the entire organization. The Purple Promise that every employee has to uphold is, I will make every FedEx experience outstanding.
And that's internal and external.
Right. And so that to me is, we've talked about simplifying 3 words, core words, all those things. That's a value proposition that I don't care where you're at in the organization. You can own that and apply that to whatever your job is to ensure that the FedEx experience is outstanding. And had a conversation with somebody yesterday about customer service, and they were saying how people need to be trained on it. And I was like, I don't understand why you would train on anything else before training on that. Because if you don't have customer service, if you don't create experience, you've got no way to create loyalty, to create any kind of longevity in business, because you'll forever be in a transactional one time and done for every customer you have.
And in all of my brand conversations, which I'm actually doing a virtual presentation for some folks in Tampa tomorrow, who wanted to have a conversation about personal brand development. People don't buy the product or service. They buy the experience of what it's like to buy it. Like, if it's a pain in the ass to do business with you, if they got to run around, here's a perfect example. I was on Delta. They served the snack. I looked at the snack. I tasted it. It was great. Kate's Real Food. It was like unbelievable. Right on the package, it said, go to the website, put in Delta 20, and boom, you get a discount. Ooh. I go to do that. Can't find the place to put in Delta 20. I sent them a note, right, on their, ask us anything. A lovely person came right back and said, hey, here's a screenshot. Here's what you need to do. You need to hit one more button, and then that shows up, and da-da-da. Please let me know how it goes. And it was like, wow, like it was real.
Exactly. Yeah. It's experience. They made the experience with that brand. And regardless of whether or not you go buy from them immediately, you're far more likely to talk about it, just like you just did. You're far more likely to share it, which is that word of mouth marketing, what made social media so great, because it didn't have to be word of mouth anymore. You could literally just go right to your social media and share it with people. And all of these, different platforms were created in order to be able to share that information. But, I think it was a great conversation. Congratulations to Fred Smith on a career well accomplished. And love to hear the lessons.
Here's an interesting comment. Shay, could you put up the FedEx logo? I saw you had the Fed up, but was there FedEx? Do you have a FedEx logo?
No, not FedEx. I don't have FedEx.
So in the logo, so when I was in the logo business, I go out and I pitch somebody, logo development is expensive, or it used to be. FedEx paid $75,000 to have their logo made. And if you look at all of their logos, embedded in the logo is an arrow that's moving forward.
Yep.
Which is insane. You don't see it until someone points it out to you, but that kind of thinking, they went over
the E and the X, right? It's the X at the EX at the end.
Right in the middle. The white is and someone brings your attention to it, you look at it, it was a commitment to moving forward, doing things differently, innovation, service, great stuff. Fred Smith, they're based in Tennessee. No surprise, his son's the coach of the.
I know, that's what I said. I was like, go figure. His son became the coach.
They happen to be a big sponsor there too, right?
And you know what school really benefited from him being there is Memphis. University of Memphis got tons of funding from Fred Smith. So a great conversation this morning. Have a terrific Thursday. Let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like